Hello, welcome back. So today we are looking at help wanted. Lately I have seen so many help wanted signs or ads or now hiring signs. It's everywhere you go. Everyone is so short-handed. We've even dealt with some of that at work. And everyone seems to be working with a skeleton crew. They're just having to work with what they got, and it's been rough out there. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are stressed, overworked, and so they're working long hours and they're just worn out. So when we look at Matthew chapter 9 verses 36 through 38, it seems like God is having a little bit of the same issue. And starting in verse 36, it says, "When Jesus saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest, therefore, to send out workers into his harvest field.'" Jesus looks out over this crowd and he sees so many people that are just lost and they're helpless. They're like a sheep without a shepherd. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They're looking for something, but they don't really know what they're looking for. And so he has compassion on them. His heart is going out to them, and they don't know what they're searching for, but he does. And they just know that there's something missing in their life. But Jesus has everything that they're looking for. And he sees that there are just so many of them that he can physically see, but he knows there are so many more that he don't physically see in this current situation. And he knows that they are all in need of a Savior. So Jesus shows his disciples. I feel like he takes this as kind of a teaching moment, maybe an eye-opening moment, and he shows his disciples and he tells them the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. He asks them to pray for more workers out in the field. The disciples currently, they are the skeleton crew. They're it. And this is what he's training them and teaching them to do, is go out and, make more disciples, lead people to Jesus. And so the disciples, I can just imagine the disciples looking out over this crowd and seeing this crowd and thinking, this is something that's way bigger than me. It's way bigger than just, the 12 of us. And I remember when I was a teller years ago, and if you've ever worked in banking, or if you have ever been to the bank on the first of the month or a Friday afternoon on payday, it can be very overwhelming. There are so many people that are coming in to cash their checks, get money, whatever, because it's payday. And so there were so many times that we would have them lined up to the door, and we would be working just as hard as we could, as fast as we could, and it was very overwhelming. I can remember working so hard and everyone else working so hard to get each customer, and you would look up and you would just see droves and droves of people, and you would wonder, oh, how are we ever going to get all of these people taken care of? How? And I can imagine the disciples looking out over this crowd and feeling overwhelmed and wondering, how are we going to take care of all of these people? How are we going to do it all? And these are just the ones that they can see with their physical eyes. There are so many others that are out there that they don't see yet. And so they're all in need of a Savior. They are all searching for something. They're all searching for something more. And they know that they have a need, and they just don't know what that is. And the disciples don't know how that need is going to be met. So Jesus tells them to pray and ask God to send more workers out in the field. You know, I was at church on Sunday, and at the end of the service, the preacher asked for all those that had suffered fear, worry, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, for all that had experienced that just that week, for them to stand. And people all over the room began to stand. And as they began to stand, he began to pray for them. And as I looked out over this crowded room, there were so many people. There were so many people that were going through so many different things, so many that were hurting, so many that were struggling, so many that were going through a difficult season of their lives. And so as the preacher prayed for them, you know, all of the rest of us began praying for them as well. And then, you know, as I'm studying this, I'm thinking, you know, there are so many more that we don't see. There are so many more that are not in this room that are facing these same struggles. And our world is filled with so many that are searching, so many that are struggling. Those that need Jesus, those that need what Jesus has to offer. So who will go? Who will tell them? Who will tell them about the hope that we have in Him? You know, we're surrounded by people every day in need of a Savior. You know, and it's not that you're not going to have to go to a foreign country. You may, but you may not. It may not even be that you go to another state. It doesn't have to be somewhere off on the mission field. Your mission field is where you are. And it's in the world around us right now. It's in our communities. It's in our schools. It's in our workplace. It's in our homes. It's being that light to all those around us so that we can share the love of Jesus wherever we go, as we go. So wherever you are, as you go, just sharing Jesus, just living it out, being there for others, having compassion, and showing that kindness. You know, we're all called to be different, and we were all called to make a difference in the world around us. So will you go? There are more workers needed in the field. Somebody somewhere is depending on you to do what God has called you to do. So will you go? So I hope that you guys have a great rest of the week. I pray that you share Jesus everywhere that you go, just by living your life the way that He would have you to. Offering words of encouragement, offering kindness, going above and beyond in your workplace, going above and beyond to help someone else, to help someone out, just sharing what it is that you have in Jesus so that others can know. Because if you don't tell them, how will they know? I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.